Beat. I'm Fernando Ramirez. I cover the Chargers for the Sporting Tribune. With me, as always, my co-host, my tag team partner, Gilberto Manzano. He covers the NFL for Sports Illustrated. Two questions. What's up, bro? ¿Dónde andas, bro?
Oh yeah, we're gonna start the show with your Spanish or Star Wars Spanish Mexican accent. That's the way you want to do it.
Exactly. I'm glad you caught on.
Or Dora. ¿Dónde está Dora? ¿Dónde está Gilberto?
Grab the hammer. Agarra el martillo.
Actually, looking at my background, it kind of looks like I'm at an aquarium. There you go. Can't say it.
I thought you were on the Space Needle in Seattle.
Something like that, which I am going to Seattle currently, Fernando. I'm at the San Jose airport. Good segue. I'm going from San Jose to Seattle to watch the Seahawks training camp, and I've been at 49ers all day. So your boy on the move, and you're also on the move too. So
yeah. Hey, Gilbert is that addicted to Starbucks that he had to go all the way to get the original Starbucks, and that's exactly there it is. He's on his way. But yeah, I'm currently moving home, still in the Chula Vista area, so don't freak out, folks who are down here. But yeah, we're moving homes. That's why I'm dressed like this. No, I'm actually dressed like this because I see a lot of players wear their hoodies with their pads on and everything, and I'm like, let me try that out. I am suffocating. I don't know how players do that. I don't know how they can wear a hoodie underneath their pads and everything. It is way too hot for that. But
you're showing you're showing the guns, man.
There's new neighbors to impress. There's a lot of baddies. Yay!
Same city, different neighborhood to invade. There you go.
Exactly. By the way, quick funny story. There was a neighbor that was walking by, and I was like, "Oh wow!" And my sister's dog starts barking at it, and I go, and my mom was holding him, and I go, "Oh, he likes to bark at pretty girls." And she's like, "Oh, thank you so much, Mom." I was like, "Tú ándale, métete a la casa." And I was like, "Oh, dang!" I was like, "Shit!" I just started laughing. I was like, "Wow."
You're practicing the lines already on the new neighborhood.
Exactly. I know. But Gilbert, you mentioned it. Training camp is in full swing. I've been going up and down. You've been all around. You hit 3 different states in 4 days. So yeah. I don't know. And you hit 5 practices. Five practices.
Six.
Well, but I was talking about last week.
Oh, last week, yeah, I got 5. Yeah.
You hit 5 practices in 5 days.
No, not that crazy. It was
6 days. 6 days. 6 days.
Let's go. Yeah, so you got it. 5 out of
You
6
had the wet. You had the wedding in between.
Had a rest day.
Yeah. A rest day. That's a wedding.
I know.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, man. By the way, yeah, it's kind of interesting that we're doing this podcast on the move. So it's fitting that you're moving and I'm moving to state right now. Not permanent, obviously, but it's been quite an experience, man. And you know the cool thing about it, Fernando. Like since we've been doing the podcast, Compas on the Beat, season 3. We got to know a lot of people. We do interviews and we get to meet people also with the NFL jobs that we have. And like the first stop at the Raiders visit in Henderson, man, like I felt like I worked there like for the last few years because I knew a lot of people there. And it's a hard place to work and focus because everybody wants to talk and everybody's so funny in their own way. So yeah, especially shout out to Adam and Cassie and Paul. They're making me laugh the whole time. And Harry, I could keep going on and on. And then we go to Phoenix, and I see our boy Jose Romero from the Arizona Republic. And today, man, all day I've been spending my time with Cam Inman, man. And you kind of get these, because I've never covered the 49ers at their facility before. You kind of get those jitters, like, okay, where do I go? Who do I talk to? Which way? And the 49ers kind of Compas a little complicated. It's a nice little location, by the way, but to have Cam Inman show me around was kind of like, okay,
it's cool. Right next to the stadium.
Yeah, so it's the cool thing, they have a bunch of fields right next to Levi Stadium, and the backdrop is a stadium, so it looks pretty cool. But I chose to go on a really hot day, Fernando, man. You would have hated it because I thought the hottest camps are going to be the LA ones, the Rams and the Chargers, because they're in Orange County and especially the Rams, they practice kind of late, so I was worried about it. But there was a nice breeze in Irvine here in Santa Clara, man. It was 87 degrees.
Sunday night, there was a beautiful breeze.
Yeah, you got the night practice, but
Yeah.
I thought NorCal was supposed to be cooler, man. I was burning over here, and I put a little bit of sunscreen because I'm thinking, it's NorCal, I'll be fine.
Oof.
But it was a nice day. But yeah, in terms of just seeing everything and getting to know different people, and then meeting people that I already know, that's been pretty fun too.
You know, I would have been kicked out of 49ers practice today, right?
Why is that?
Saturday was SummerSlam. I would have asked for George Kittle, and George Kittle and I would have gone on SummerSlam. I would have asked him, George, I remember at WrestleMania, you told me, hey, last year's Super Bowl, you told me, hey, watch out, you never know where I'll be. And at WrestleMania, you and Pat McAfee knock out The Miz. Like, what's next? Like, honestly, I'm gonna do this. I've been vouching to be somebody's caddy. I won't say whose. When he goes in professional golf, when he's done playing in the NFL, he's gonna go to professional golf. I've been advocating to be his caddy. I would advocate to be George Kittle's advocate. I would walk out with George Kittle, and I'd be like, my name is Fernando Ramirez, and my client dominated the NFL. Now he will dominate the world of wrestling entertainment. George Kittle and I would make a great combo.
But Fernando, if you got that opportunity, like it won't be like planned out for you to do it. You have to just shout it, like, and get his attention. While he's doing like warm up drills or something, or coming off the field, just start screaming and doing your whole Paul Heyman spiel, and I think he'll get your attention, and he might just sign you. Because by the way, real quick, when Kittle was doing like his warm ups, some kid kept going, "Hey, Kittle." He was saying Kittles, by the way. He wasn't not. It was it was plural, not singular. It was Kittles. I'm like, he's not
like Asante Samuels Jr.
Yeah. And he wasn't going to turn around. I'm like, he's no way he's going to turn around because he's in the middle of practice. He goes, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he just says hi. I'm like, oh, of course, George Kittle will be the one to turn around for somebody being so annoying.
Oh my! Remember, I still remember a couple of years ago. It was John Cena, 2021. The Chargers were doing a joint practice with the 49ers. I told you, hey, I'm going to go over to the 49ers side and try and grab George Kittle. You're like, good, and ask him a wrestling question. You're like, good luck. And I go over there, and they're like, all right, last question. I'm like, George, who you got this weekend, Roman Reigns or John Cena? He goes, whoa, what a great question. And then he answers it, and the PR guy looks at me like, really? And then he goes, all right, another question. Let's end this strong. He's like, he ended it strong with a wrestling question. That's what I wanted. And the PR guy was just shaking his head. But I got one of those yesterday or Sunday. Some kid goes, hey, Keenan, can you grab me, pick me up, and put me on the field with you? And I go, I like look over and I'm like, what? And like I'm with some other media people. I'm like, whoa, that is the weirdest request I think I've ever heard. Like, can you pick? No. In today's age, no adult can pick up a child that's not their own because you never know. So I was just like, whoa, that's a interesting request. But that same kid asked Justin Herbert for his cleats later, and Justin actually gave him the cleats. So, by the way, these kids fail. If I got Justin's cleats, I'd be like, hey, can you autograph it? Like, be like, oh, yeah, room. There you go. Quick is easy. But it's funny. Justin was walking towards the end of the line. I go, Justin, will you sign my cell phone? And then he looks at me. He starts laughing. He's like, you really want me to? I was like, no. I was like, no. And then he just starts laughing. He's like, that's what, he's like, you're a funny dude. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I try, but and that's what I knew. That's why I like that you're doing this tour, because I wanted to see how different fans are, like I know Cowboy fans. I don't know if you saw Joe Morley's video, but hey, what do you guys think you're gonna do this year? 13-4. Oh, we're gonna be 13 or 14-3, like. And I'm like no Cowboy fans said that they were going to be bad. And I'm like, what about the Eagles? Oh, the Eagles are going to be terrible. I'm like, dang, Cowboy fans but you're gonna experience different kind of fans, and I think that's going to be interesting to see the kind of different fans that you experience, the different players, obviously, and I think that's actually cool about the tour that you're doing right now.
Yeah, I feel like next week I want to give you guys more time and give you like all the analysis and all the stories. I know we're on the move.
Well, this week was crazy
on the move. So how about like a little rapid fire of the Raiders, Cardinals, Cowboys, 49ers, and then we could do like LA beat after that. But with the Raiders, man, the whole focus was Jimmy G, and even since I left, man, he's throwing more interceptions. I could tell it's becoming a thing with Josh McDaniels and
why can't we say that the defense is playing well, Gilbert?
So why can't our defense have some play, especially a team that had 13 takeaways last year for the worst mark in the league? So I get it. That time we're going to talk about it too later when it comes to super positive and super negative, and there's like a blend to it. But that's the big question mark with the Raiders, man. Is can Jimmy G be the guy to at least lead this offense with Josh McDaniels? And so far what I'm seeing, he knows how to operate the McDaniels scheme, but it's going to be a process because even to McDaniels' credit, he told me, I haven't seen this guy since his Patriots days. He's a different quarterback from 49ers days. He had 2 starts with New England, and we're all assuming he's going to pick up the playbook. So, it won't be a smooth transition, but that is a topic for when I went, at least for in Henderson, before Josh Jacobs returns, right?
Yeah. So what's the feeling without Josh Jacobs there? Like media, fans, or like the staff, like kind of what's the feeling around there?
Well, I was thinking like, okay, when Josh McDaniels told me, he was like, hey, like we expect him back. I'm like, has he said that before in a quote? I didn't know how big it was. And then I saw people kind of pick up the quote from the story. But when he's talking about, hey, when he comes back, when we get him back in the flow of things, when we integrate him in the offense, that makes me feel like he's part of the team and they expect him back. And then if you're Josh Jacobs, man, like you're not gonna give up on $10 million guarantee. Like whatever Le'Veon Bell did at 2017, I forgot the year. I'm like who would do that nowadays, man? Just giving up.
Le'Veon said he regretted it, by the way.
Yeah. So even like today, like I was at 49ers camp, Nick Bosa. They asked Kyle Shanahan, they're not worried about it. This guy's gonna be in top shape. He's gonna pick up his check, and they're gonna figure it out later. So.
They could just look down south and see how Joey is physically, and they'll know that that Nick's fine.
They kept talking about like, oh yeah, like he never comes to off-season program. He trains, and in my head, I'm like, I know where he trains in Florida with his brother. So that was kind of funny to see the other side of it too.
The 49ers, I know that Brock Purdy's starting to throw and he's starting to get going, but it kind of feels like this has been their thing since Kyle Shanahan got there. Like the defense is all set. The offense has weapons, but it's just the quarterback. They're missing the quarterback. Is that kind of your sense? By the way, there was a weird story over the weekend that the 49ers were thinking that if they would have beat the Eagles, they would have called Phillip Rivers, and he might have been the starting quarterback for them in the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
I saw a story somewhere about that, and I was like, whoa. I'm like, maybe you should have called them beforehand, but who cares? That's not important, but I just thought it was funny. But is that kind of the sense that about Brock Purdy? Because I heard that Trey Lance is third is the third quarterback and stuff.
By the way, the way I was gonna write my story, you would have been proud, but I don't think I know the offense that well to do it. But here's how they're doing it in 49ers camp for Trey Lance and Sam Darnold. They're both fighting for the backup job, but it's like Trey Lance is like the assistant to the backup job. It's something weird. Like, so I was getting worried for Trey Lance because he went. Brandon Allen went before Trey Lance and team drills. I'm like, what the hell is he, number 4 now? And then he didn't get his turn into Brock Purdy went a second time around, and then Trey Lance went second. So I think they want Trey Lance to be with the second team, but they don't want to disrupt the flow of 1, 2, 3. So he kind of waits a second away for his reps. And then like when the practice is over, Trey Lance has like 4 passes to throw. Like he's getting no reps out there, but he is the backup to the backup, and it's not looking good for Trey.
That is that's honestly pretty interesting, especially because I mean, you know how we do here. I mean, we like to have breaking news. We like to have videos and stuff, and I have secret videos from the discussion between what's going on with the quarterback situation. It's right here.
You're always ready.
So there you go. That's how the discussions are going. It's lower. So, but I mean, what can Trey Lance do?
Yeah, I was gonna answer that. With a Brock Purdy twist, this job is over, man. Or at least it's the franchise quarterback spot. It's Brock Purdy's, man. Like Trey Lance got to go somewhere else.
Not even Sam could compete for it, probably.
Oh no, this is Brock Purdy's job, and how they're all worried about will he come back, will he won't, and he's been playing in practice. He's been doing his reps, but with like an injury management, right? You get 2 days going, you get a day off, and it kind of reminded me of the Matthew Stafford with the Rams last year. I'm like, that could be bad. I don't know. And I get there today, man. This guy's on point, man. Like He's quick. He knows where to put the ball. When it's a one quick read, is boom, the ball comes out of nowhere. When he's taking his time, I think the thing they want him to work on is being more patient in the pocket and moving his footwork. Like his footwork's a little clunky, but you could tell he's being patient. He's trying to listen to Kyle Shanahan, and when he sees something open, like tight window throws, man, like Brock Purdy is a dude, and I think he's better than whatever Jimmy G was at his peak. Maybe it could be like a top 10 quarterback kind of era. I'm not saying Brock Purdy's gonna be like an established star, but he's gonna be very good. I don't know what level that is, but if you're a Trey Lance fan, go somewhere else or just wait for an injury to get your opportunity. Because like right now, you're just buried on the depth chart, and it's just wild to think how much they gave up the 49ers to move up.
The Commanders
against the Commanders. What? Oh, the trade.
No trade.
Yeah,
him to the Commanders would be interesting.
And I think the kid deserves a shot, but like he doesn't pick up the offense as quick. You could tell he's a little slow out there and a little clunky. And then
he played like 10 college games, like or
less. And the only time I saw Trey Lance in a group, again, it's one day I was here. He got a design run and then a scramble run back to back, and he kind of got some confidence off of that. He needs to be on the move and running to make some plays to get the arm going, and I don't know, that could be kind of a bad thing.
Supposedly, a media member stepped on Kyler Murray last week. Was that you?
Is that actually a real story?
No.
It was not me, but that would have been bad, man.
What was that like? Because they practice in their stadium, right?
Yeah, man. So everybody, I don't know if you saw that video, Fernando, where one of the quarterbacks threw the ball at somebody's helmet, and it's like,
oh my god,
it's gonna be a rough year for Arizona. And yeah, I couldn't name like more than 3 dudes on the team. And I got to know Clayton Tune, the rookie. And okay, I got to all watch for this guy. But like besides Hollywood and James Conner, like who else you got on the squad? It's gonna be a long year. And when I was talking to the GM, and by the way, Jonathan Gannon, Brandon Staley's BFF, he's a very outgoing dude, like very energetic, and it's cool to get to know him. And he's like, I don't care what people are saying about our team, but look at the roster and the situation. It's gonna be a rough year, man. So it is a nice. At least they have a nice setting, a good stadium to practice in. But yeah, that roster looks pretty tough to look at.
Yeah, no, and you could tell right away. I told you, Gilbert, and I'm gonna keep by this. I think they're gonna end up drafting Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. I think they're gonna go 2 for 1, and
that'd be nice.
And that'd be a great combination. You have Budda Baker, who's a leader on that defense. You have some good pieces there. I just think that sometimes you kind of need something new, and I feel like what's his name? I just feel like Kyler Murray maybe needs to go somewhere else, somewhere with an offensive mind. See, the thing about that is, and when they got Gannon, I was kind of like, I wonder if that means that they're giving up on Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray doesn't need a defensive-minded coach. He needs an offensive-minded coach, unless they would have brought in an offensive mind that's a former head coach or a good offensive mind, but they didn't do that. So I'm wondering if they've kind of punted on Kyler Murray.
Yeah, and then if you think about it, it's a new GM too. Like the GM and his coaching staff didn't draft Kyler Murray, and they're not the ones that paid him that big contract either. And
exactly.
We went on a good day because like the GM spoke, and those beat reporters, man, they're on it. Like we're in August. They're talking about the draft already. They're like, hey, Monty, are you gonna consider getting a quarterback with one of your 2 picks? And he's like, holy cow! Like I'm trying to get through Tuesday, and I'm like, hey, you got to ask the question. But yeah, and somebody was like, hey, does Kyler have something to prove to you? Like, he hasn't really, like, he's not really your guy. And he's like, everybody has something to prove to me, kind of thing. So, but they're going to get the same questions for the whole year.
That is interesting. What was the sense at Cowboys? Because I know that obviously it's funny. Everybody's probably like Cowboys. Yeah, for some people who don't know, I know Cowboy fans know, but some people don't know. The Cowboys practice up in not Northern California, but north of Los Angeles.
I think that's Central. Area. I'm gonna go with Central California.
Central? Oh, it is. Oh yeah, Central. My bad.
It's like borderline south. I don't know.
Yeah, northern LA.
Something. Yeah, there you go. Well, super northern LA. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you got to keep it simple. But we obviously the day before you went on a good day because the day before you went, obviously Trayvon Diggs said what he said. Dak Prescott, I won't repeat it. Kid show. I won't repeat it, but he called him no, he said shut. No, I can't. Now I can't even remember what he said. But he just said something derogatory, not derogatory. Well, he just cursed at him. There we go. Why are we?
I think he called him a
stepping
female
around
dog,
this?
but other than that,
Yeah. There you go. So what was the sense around that? Is it just like it's whatever? Is it's just teammates going at it, or what was the sense that you got?
Yeah, I actually didn't even see the video before I got there, and I was like, oh crap, like that is kind of like a heated trash talk. But then again, it's like who cares? They're trash talking. It's in a heated moment between the one defense and the one offense, and that's what you do, right? Like, you want it to be kind of a game-like setting. Like they're all helping each other out, but still, like it won't be like that on game day. Like you're trying to like get the best out of everybody. So, like if I would have caught that, like maybe say I was a beat reporter, like I probably wouldn't give 2 cents about it. But I'm like, oh, people do care, so get to write about it. And it was funny because I noticed a lot of the beat reporters were like having their phones out for everything because they want to make sure they catch the next viral clip. And I'm like, oh, they're an alert there with the Cowboys.
I think Mr. President was the one that got it.
Calvin.
Yeah, I think Calvin was the one that.
Yeah, I actually got to meet him. He's a cool guy. Or not? Maybe it was some. I think it was Clarence. I think it was. But,
okay. I saw that one play where Dak threw it up into double coverage, and the safety just goes whoop and just catches it and runs it back. I was like,
that's
wow.
The other thing. The thing that was really interesting to me for Cowboys practice, like, how a lot of them, like a lot of teams, like to have their kind of like their game-like setting. Where okay, you save the best for last. You're playing a 2-minute drill, or you're moving down the field, right?
Yeah.
And with the Cowboys, it was like just stay in the middle of the field, and it was like keep doing the play over and over again until you perfected it because it's a new scheme with Mike McCarthy. And I was surprised that Dak was honest. He was like, man, like it's actually pretty different from Kellen Moore, which could be a really bad thing or a really good thing. I don't know, Fernando. But it's going to be a lot of different tweaks there with the offense. So they kept doing it over. Like Prescott was something would fumble the ball off the snap, like things like that, and bad interceptions. He's like, do it again. And I kept thinking, like, I kind of feel bad for the defense because they're not getting their work in. They're kind of like at the pace of the offense. But then again, if you're the defense, you've been working with Dan Quinn. You know Dan Quinn. And I'm sure the veterans were like, I don't give a shit. Sorry, I don't give a crap. I always get one curse word in there. Like, hey, it's training camp. I'd rather save my body. Let the offense, work harder than us. But I think they said Mike McCarthy said that towards the end of camp, probably like maybe next week, that's when it'll be more like game-like setting because he wants to make sure they get that offense going. So I don't know, man. Like, it hasn't worked before, whatever they were doing, but at the same time, you're kind of thinking like it's kind of a drastic change. Why are you guys doing all that? But we'll see.
What's the sense you get about Dak? I mean, is Dak still the guy for them, or?
Yeah, man.
You know that there is a little bit of hesitation when you kind of listen around the league and everything. So
that's what I thought.
I'm wondering if they're still.
That's what I was thinking too. Like after so many strikeouts in the playoffs, like after a while, you kind of get a little like restless, right? Like okay, like this guy gonna take us to at least a championship game, and then now you're starting to see reports that they're starting talks about an extension, and he's due for a contract extension because after this year he has no more guaranteed money. So I'm like, hey, maybe they could probably break up because he never does anything in the playoffs. Like the way they got crushed by the 49ers, I'm like, oh, that's so deflating, man. Every single year.
Isn't that 2 years in a row now?
Yeah, something like
2 years in a row. Yeah.
So you would think, okay, let's give them one pressure-filled year, do your thing, and then we'll talk. But they're trying to get it over. It's kind of like Kirk Cousins. Like they give him 1 year after 1 year, but I think the thing with Prescott, Fernando, is like they all love his leadership. Like everybody loves the guy. Like he's a very good leader.
And he's the Campbell spokesman, dude. It went from Donovan McNabb to him.
And it's not easy to find in a guy who could take the spotlight in Dallas and like have things like roll off his back.
It's hard.
All the criticism. But then again, like sometimes you got to perform in it, and he kind of has that wall he can't get over. But he's gonna get paid, I feel like.
Well, that has been Gilberto's tour around training camp. We are now on Compas on the LA Bobby. Gilbert, what are we starting off with? Which one?
I don't know. What do you think? Rams, Chargers? Wait, can we leave Chargers?
You know what? No. I'm a little bit more interested in the Rams.
Okay, then we'll do Chargers last.
Cooper Kupp gets hurt. I've seen Van Jefferson has stepped up. So has who's the other guy? Who's the other receiver that they have? Geez, I'm blanking.
Tutu Atwell,
Tutu Atwell,
Marcus
Tutu Atwell, and Van
Robinson.
Jefferson. I've seen both of their names kind of jump out. What have you thought? What have you thought about that offense?
Yeah, well, like again, I'm not trying to buy into a lot of early hype in the training camp, but they have a nice, pretty good rookie in Nuka Pakua. I don't want to. I was butchering his name all yesterday.
Oh, I know who that is.
Nuka Pakua, BYU wide receiver, and he's kind of been on my radar for now since like the draft. Like what it was like the day 3 of the draft, and I was just bored, and I think that all the commenters were bored, and then they make the pick, and out of nowhere, DJ started screaming at the camera like, "Oh, I really love this pick." I'm like, if you're that hyped up for a pick in day 3, I'm like, all right, I think he's a baller. And then I saw him out there yesterday, man. He's a big dude too, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
well, he's playing with Stafford because Cooper Cup is hurt. People were telling him that was happening before Cup got hurt. Like he has a legit shot to be number 3. So if they get a guy to help out, because like Van Jefferson, man, he's like so up and down. Like if you get a guy who's very steady and he's playing like a legit playmaker, it could go a long way for his offense.
Yeah, I can. Gilbert, real quick. Odell Beckham Jr. said on Monday that if he would have stayed healthy for that Super Bowl, he would have had over 10 catches and over 250 receiving yards. Agree or disagree?
That's a high mark. So I'll disagree, but he was headed for a pretty big day though.
I'll agree. He had some pretty good stats up at that point, and I just think they had no answer for him, and that's why I think the Bengals came back.
Yeah.
Because when he got hurt, it was like, oh, the Bengals just had to adjust their offense. I don't know if he's going to do that with the Baltimore Ravens. I'm a little bit hesitant about him, but my bad. Back to what's going on.
Go ahead. You know what I've been wanting to talk to you about? You know how we kept waiting for John Johnson to go to the Chargers?
Yeah.
When I was there yesterday, John Johnson was there hanging out with the Rams. I'm like, yeah, you would think that it's obvious he's going to sign there. Like, why is he just kicking it there? And I've never really seen that before where, like, a guy just hangs out and then signs the next day. So that wasn't really surprising. But it makes me wonder because, like, they kind of have some young guys at safety, like Quentin Lake, Russ Yeast, and even Jordan Fuller. There we go. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna rock with the young guys, see what they got. This is the year to do it, right? The rebuild year.
Yeah.
And to bring in a veteran like that, it kind of tells me, hey, you know what? Maybe they see like they have maybe a chance for a walk. Right? I don't know, but the John Johnson signing kind of surprised me a little bit because he is a good player. But that kind of tells me, hey, maybe they're going for it somewhat this year.
I got to tell you real quick. I just got this tweet. Top 15 players in the NFL voted as by the players. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. Number 3, Jalen Hurts. Number 4, Nick Bosa. Number 5, Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce needs to be higher. 6, Joe Burrow. 7, Tyreek Hill. 8, Josh Allen. 10, Micah Parsons. 9, Micah Parsons. 10, Chris Jones. What a weird list.
No Herbert?
I don't know. No, Herbert was like 30 or something. No, that's not bad. It's just the Justin Jefferson one's throwing me off.
What number is he?
Number 2.
He had a pretty big year, man.
You know what? It's a Kirk Cousins effect. Like, you don't really think about him having a big year because you're like, oh, Kirk Cousins is quarterback. My bad. I just jumped the gun. But so I mean, we've heard the reports from Dr. Mike Florio that if the Rams end up winning or losing, they could trade Aaron Donald. But it seemed like you said it with that John Johnson signing. It feels like, okay, maybe they feel like they have some playmakers. I've told you from years past that I think Les Snead is he's great at drafting 3rd round and beyond. And I feel like that's the thing. I feel like they see that they have some playmakers. They're good at getting undrafted rookies. But you know what's funny? Eric Williams told me the other day. He said hi, by the way. He said that you guys are just missing each other at every single stop because you guys are doing the same stuff, but you guys are just missing each other. He told me that they have 40 players that are first year players. I think he said.
Yeah,
that is impressive.
It's like 24 undrafted rookies and like 13 something like.
Does Matthew Stafford still look good?
Yeah, but again, like last year, I thought he looked fine with the whole arm injury. So what the hell do I know? And again, Like there was times though where I'm like, oh, that would have been a sack. That would have been a sack. And like, a lot of pressure. He was getting, but he was throwing pretty good. I'll say this: there was more deep passes than I saw a year ago when it comes to camp. Like, so that was a good sign. But again, like,
Well,
what
you
that?
and I, yeah, no, my bad. I was gonna say you and I have been talking about this though. Like last year, we saw it. The offensive line was just terrible for them, and it's like, have they made the right moves to bring in offensive linemen? And obviously, they're cap struck, so I think they don't have any stability. And then you heard all the rumors in the offseason. They tried to get him to take a pay cut. Matthew Stafford, he didn't want to. They tried to trade him. Nobody bid. So I'm interested to see what this Rams team is going to look like. Eric is telling me they're going to be close to 7 to 10 win team, and I'm like, I just don't see it. Like with all the new pieces, with all the players, and then now Cooper Kupp is hurt. Matthew Stafford has the arm thing, the offensive line, and I'm just saying this from somebody that hasn't been there, but I'm just wondering how good they're really going to be because they have some holes on their team.
It wouldn't be crazy if they get 7 wins. 10 is a little out there for me, but it's just like that defense is going to be pretty bad, and that you really need your offense to score points to keep up, right? And are we going to start believing in the offensive line suddenly to figure it out just because they have healthy bodies and they drafted a good stud, young kid, and Steve Avila? Like, I'm sure that's going to help, but like, it won't fix all your problems. And then, yeah, if Puka does well, Nakua, there we go. That gives you another playmaker, which it felt like it was just Cooper Kupp, and you got Tyler Higbee too as well. But like that offense was the worst offense I ever covered last year. And I'm not saying I'm a grizzled vet in this game here, but I was like every Sunday watching this offense, it was terrible. So I don't know. I think it does make me feel like better about them when they have John Johnson. Like they know the defense is a problem and they need help there. And I'm like, when they weren't bringing in more veterans, I'm like, okay, I think they're gonna just be okay with stinking there because they want to rebuild. But maybe they are shooting for a wildcard spot, and maybe they see maybe the NFC is not that competitive. They may able to squeeze in. I don't know.
Yeah. Moving over to the other team in Southern California, obviously the Chargers are. You went to the one day of camp, and I've noticed them. I mean, there's the injuries are starting to kind of get to them a little bit. They have some defensive linemen that are hurt. There's an illness, like some illness
Yeah,
bug.
every time I see a tweet, man, like somebody's sick the next day. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, so I don't know what's going, but like it's only affecting star players, I guess. So I better be careful because it could affect me next. But it's Quentin Johnston, it's Rashawn Slater, it's Gerald Everett, and
Sebastian.
it's
Oh, for sickness
no
only.
Joey Bosa. Joey
Oh.
Bosa. Sebastian has a quad injury. But it's funny because Gerald got into it with Kenneth Murray, and since he got into it, that we haven't seen him. So, yeah, it's just been interesting. But this often changes when those guys aren't in there. I mean, 3 of your offensive weapons aren't there. Well, 2 of them, and then obviously your left tackle. So they did have a rough go of it Sunday during the scrimmage. When they got Justin in a 2-minute, dude, that guy. It's like they had been playing kind of bad. The defense kind of taking advantage of them during the scrimmage. And it's like as soon as they got in the 2-minute offense, it's like Justin turned it on and he was finding all kinds of guys. By the way, so you know how it is during training camp. Like you ask coaches, hey, what do you think of this player? What do you think of that player? And this and that. And they'll answer and they'll be like, oh, they're doing everything that's asked of them. They're doing well. So Trey McKitty catches I'm talking about the third string tight end. Trey McKitty catches a pass. He was a third-round pick, by the way. He catches the pass to set up the field goal, and they kick the field goal to win. So I asked Brandon. I'm like, hey, Brandon. So obviously, Trey did okay for you guys your first year. Second year, it's like he fell off a little bit. And he's like, this is a big camp for Trey. He's like, this is boom, like do or die. But he basically said like, this is do or die. I was like, oh wow. He's like, we need to see much more improvement from him. And I was like, oh, whoa. I was like, okay. So there you go. So he needs to improve. But there's been some good from the Chargers. Thule, I'm not going to butcher his last name. Thule, the outside line, but the pass rusher from by the way, the other day I put pass rushers Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack a picture. Some idiot on Twitter goes, I hate when people put pass rushers because then it takes away what they do. They can stop the run as well. I was like, dude, like you
So,
are
so what
a
does he want to
human that
call
doesn't
him?
deserve to be on this earth. Edge rusher, which I was like, get out of town, dude. I called him a
That
pass
means they do
rusher.
more, apparently, I guess.
I guess so, but it diminishes what they do. I'm like, oh, dude, you
Edge,
know where you
also,
can
the
go.
same thing with edge rusher. That means they just stand on the edge and they move them all over the
Exactly.
defensive line, right?
Exactly. And I actually have I'm working on a big story right now on Joey and Khalil gained 20 pounds each during the off season. So that'll be coming out probably in the next 2 or 3 days. I'm doing a story on them and them gaining weight and what it means. And Khalil wasn't too happy that Joey told us that he had gained a couple pounds. So it was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, obviously Khalil Mack, man, him and Rashawn Slater have been having some battles. Like it's fun to watch. Khalil still got some juice in him. So for people who think he might be done, I think he saw some juice, especially adding that weight. And then obviously Rashawn Slater told us, hey, I could tell Joey right away gained weight. And then like, really how? He's like, as soon as he put his hands on me, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what is going on? So the pass rush seems like it's there. Obviously Derwin's there. Eric Kendricks is a big a person that a lot of people are talking about. Gilbert, one guy that I think stood out when you were there was number 26, Asante Samuel Jr. Stood out. What did you see from him?
Yeah, man. Like I think the day started like with him getting beat a couple times, and then he just quickly like short memory, and he bounces back, and he's such a feisty competitor. And like I think there was that play towards the end of practice where he batted the ball away from Mike Williams. I'm like, let me do the math
Yeah.
here. He's like 5'9", 5'10". Mike Williams is 6'4". Like you're giving up 6 inches, and you're that aggressive, and you're in the way. Make life harder for the wide receivers, man. And then they started doing push-ups, right? So and it's a good sign because
He's
like
he hates it, but he's like it. He is so much like his dad. It's nuts.
yeah, and he's in,
I remember watching his dad was so special, so underrated. I don't know if he's gold jacket worthy. Well, if the numbers speak for themselves, and he won Super Bowls on those teams, but man, his dad was something else.
he definitely picked it up because he's an aggressive, not too aggressive
Yeah,
where it hurts him, but like yeah, he doesn't back down to competition level. And he always views himself at the top, and it was a good sign and encouraging sign because remember Fernando last year, like when Michael Davis and Asante picked it up, after J.C. Jackson went down, it really helped out this team. But I'm like, could that be like a fluky month or two? And then they need J.C. Jackson, and then he's like slowly coming back from his injury, and like they still need Asante and Michael to play that way. So to see Asante playing at that level, it's a good sign, and it's a big year 3 for him. And yeah, I don't know if I've been away from the team for so long, but I just standing there thinking like, man, they got a lot of playmakers on both sides of the ball. I know the defense gonna
they
be
do.
they have ways to go, but when I saw
Can they
Josh
stay
Palmer,
healthy?
they can't say healthy, but when I saw Josh Palmer
Yeah,
and make that, I think that was over Asante. That kind of tells you how the back and forth was
yeah.
going. I'm like, man, that's 4 wide receivers right there. And I know the tight ends are a little weak there. The offensive line should be good again. Uh, yeah, I still can't believe we're in a world where Trey Pickens just flat out developed. I guess when I was gone. But yeah, and then obviously you got the court, and then the Kellen Moore offense, man. Like you could tell they're gonna I'm not saying they're gonna go take deep shots, but they're gonna use more parts of the field, and that's what I noticed. That he kept going to the left side, right side, inside, and to the and then I noticed when Justin Herbert, he was playing so much faster. He will, with knowing the protections, the calls, and then kind of doing some audibles, and he wasn't afraid to go to an inexperienced guy. I kept telling him, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Why is Trey McKitty getting a couple targets?" I think Justin Herbert was like, you know what? If I like to play, if I like the matchup, I'm going to you. And I think that's a good trait to have when you trust your players, and it grows confidence in them.
You know, it's funny, Gilbert. I asked Justin on Sunday after the practice. I asked him, Justin, is what's happened last year when you didn't have Keenan, you didn't have Mike. Do you feel like that's the reason why you're working out with so many different guys? He's like, that's exactly the reason. He's like, at one point, one of these guys might have to step up. And what if I don't have chemistry with them? I have to build chemistry with everybody. You saw, Gilbert, at one point you asked me, like, is Justin still out there with the three? Like, I think he was out there with the threes or whatever. And I remember you were like, whoa. And I'm like, well, that's just so that he can get cohesion with everybody. And you could tell he was scarred off of that, where he had Josh Palmer, Michael Bandy, and I can't remember DeAndre Carter. So you could tell Justin is trying to practice that and get there. But yeah, we talked about it. The health is the interesting part. If they can say, and what if they can stay healthy, I feel like this team could be dangerous. But that's huge. That's what's going to be huge. And then obviously you need to start off hot because you have a favorable schedule at the beginning. You need to take advantage of it. If you can go into that game against the week 9 against the New York Jets, that Monday night game, if you can go in there 6-2, 5-3, you're sitting pretty. But that back end, Gilbert, that back end's a gauntlet. You have Denver twice. And I know I'm not a big. I don't think he'll be playing. They'll be playing Russell Wilson by the end of the season. I just think
it'll be better by then.
I think he'll be benched by then. But all I keep on hearing from Broncos practice is that the defense keeps on dominating. But I'm like, I heard somebody say he looks like the Russell Wilson of last year, and I'm like, so who is Sean Payton gonna bitch at after Russell Wilson has a bad year? Is he going to look at himself and be like, this is the worst head coaching job I've ever seen? So I don't know, but I'm interested to see. That's why I'm glad that you're going. I want to see what you see from Team 3. But yeah, so obviously Chargers was interesting. You got to do your whole tour, so that's awesome. I've been doing some Padres stuff as well. So I've actually Manny Machado actually kind of likes me, I think. So that's a pretty cool sign. He was chatting it up with me the other day, and I asked him, what kind of quarterback were you? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, were you a Patrick Mahomes when you played in high school? He's like, nah. He's like, that guy's a different cat. And I'm like, yeah, I know. He's like, but I love watching him, Herbert, and Josh Allen play. I'm like, yeah, I know. All three of them are unique in their own way. Oh, no, he said Burrow. No.
Yeah. Bring him on the podcast.
I'll try. Yeah, that's for next time. But Gilbert, before you catch your flight, let's do some rapid fire. Gilbert, week 5 of the NFL season is the first week NBC can flex out games. And guess what? You can flex out the Cowboys and versus the 49ers for Broncos and Jets. With all the beef going on between Sean Payton and the Jets, would you do it?
I don't know, because 49ers Cowboys is pretty good, and it depends, how the teams are doing. What do the Broncos think again? I don't want to watch Russell Wilson just throw a bunch of
I do.
Terrible passes. I guess you do, but
Sauce would be all over him.
Man, it's tough, man. You know what? I'll say.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers throw a touchdown, run by, and say something to Sean Payton. That would be
at least I think 49ers Cowboys is in a higher level, but at least Jets, you have the whole cast of characters, so let's do it. Why not? There you go.
See, if the NFL wants to be more entertaining, hire Fernando. We can do some WWE-esque things. Like, I'd be in Rodgers' ear. I'd be like, okay, run over to Sean Payton and yell something at him. And he'd be looking at him, and he'd be like that. Like Bertier did in Remember the Titans.
All right. Well,
just point at him.
Would he give him the 2-word sign or the Stone Cold fingers?
Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
You didn't have to do it, but there you go.
And then he'll do the belt.
Okay.
I would flex it. Yes. Bad blood, everything. I've seen Cowboys and Niners already. I don't need to see it again. Yeah, I want to see Broncos versus Jets. Gilbert, fair or foul to blame all the injuries going into training camp to the offseason program under the new collective bargaining agreements?
There might be something there, man, because just to kind of, you have the entire offseason program, you get people in shape, and then all right, go take 5 weeks off and come back in and let's crank it up. And then that's how injuries kind of happen. So it's something that they got to kind of fix. But again, people like their summer vacation.
But I feel like it's also that time where the player, it's like the player, hey, go do and the players take care of themselves so well. But I just wonder, because it's like that last month, hey, go, you're not going to be with your family for the next 6 months, 4 to 6 months. Go out, have fun, then come back ready to work. So I don't know. I think that's kind of a lazy thing. I just think that injuries happen nowadays because of extracurricular activities. So I don't know, but it's interesting. Gilbert, over the weekend, Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians and Tim Anderson of the White Sox were in an epic fight. Gilbert, I don't know. I think I heard from a little birdie that you have not seen this yet. Let me show you the 3-piece McNuggets and the extra biscuit on the side. Watch this right here. Look at this. Oh, we're gonna square up. We're gonna square up. Ooh.
It started with Anderson.
Buenas noches.
Going
Buenas
down.
noches.
Went down faster than Ryan Garcia against Javonte Davis, man.
Dude, that was so bad. Yeah, so obviously you see that and you're like whoa, like what is going on? So it was just one of those fights where
can I give you my analysis real quick before I answer the question of this fight? Because like
well, before you give me your analysis.
Oh, you got another video?
I got something real quick.
Knew it. Dude, if I'm Tim Anderson, like I gave up baseball and I've never showed up my face again because like
he won't return his text. He won't return his text. I guess
man.
Jose Ramirez tried to apologize. He won't return
or knocking him out. Wow, that's how he knows what he's doing. And then like it's one of those moments. I don't know if you saw the Dave Chappelle scare, like when keeping it real goes wrong. Like yeah, he's like, oh come on, you want to fight? Like sometimes like when you're just mad at each other, you start screaming. But the first thing you don't say, let's fight. And he's like going like it's Popeye the Sailor Man. And
why do you do this? Like
doing the Mayweather.
Up.
And I'm like,
yeah.
That. And then you have a weak chin and you don't know how to block a counter. And Jose Ramirez was just kind of like going head down and doing one of these, and that was good enough to knock him out. And he went down quick. His eyes.
I bet you they're gonna be on the Jake. They're gonna be on the Jake Paul Nate Diaz too. They're gonna be on the card.
I will watch it, but I have it's gonna be a heavy favorite for Jose Ramirez to win the rematch.
By the way, what is a fight that you remember from the NFL?
Yeah, okay, that's what we're getting to. I was trying to look up a few. There's been so many, but I kind of like the Jalen Ramsey, AJ Green one because AJ Green was such a quiet dude, and Ramsey just pissed him off that like he like went over and choked them out, and then he dropped them. That's the one that's kind of the obvious one with Andre Johnson, Cortland, because they
at each other. This is something else. Watch this, folks. Now you talk about a fight. This is serious stuff. This is Jimmy on your left, and that's Howie on the right, and that's how we warm up for the pregame show.
You know what's the dumbest thing in football is punching people when they have helmets on. They took them
I've never understood that. Yeah. I've never understood that.
I don't know. I think for me, maybe AJ Green and Jalen, or even Josh Norman, and OBJ, wide receiver, cornerbacks. I get into it.
Hey, remember Michael Crabtree when he got the chain snap? Akeem Talib.
That's another one.
I remember that one. That was a really fun one. But I remember they used to do all kinds of stuff like that, and it was fun. It was entertaining.
Well, how about Myles Garrett against Mason Rudolph's head? What the hell?
Oh, okay. See that one was interesting.
That's more of a street fight.
For the one you presented, here it is. I got it right for you.
Watch, so Rand will push him down.
Why are you hitting him with the helmet on?
Didn't AJ Green went to go look for him too after?
He did. Dude, I saw him, by the way, real quick. I still remember when the Houston Rockets were trying to find the tunnels to go into the Clippers locker room, and the police was called, and oh my God, that is something hilarious. Gilbert, something or nothing. Should fans and media make a big deal of turnovers or big plays from NFL teams during training camp?
Yeah, this is a good question. It is.
What about fake media?
Yeah, especially there was some people keeping tabs of. I guess when there's a competition for quarterback, you can keep tabs of the who's incompletions and passes there, but whatever. I don't know. I think it's a time of year people are kind of get carried away, either negative or positive, and I feel like, you know what, like maybe assess every situation first. And okay, it was a new scheme and new players. Like, isn't it right now the time to make mistakes? Like, you know how you were saying with Justin Herbert, like, yeah, like when the game starts, then you're looking at Keenan and Mike's direction. But right now, you got to practice and throw, force it to Trey McKitty, who might drop some or it might be an interception. So
the one against the 49ers last year.
Yeah, just really assess the situation and let's calm down, either good or bad. And I'm just so tired of it. Like, especially when people are freaking out about Jimmy G or Dak Prescott. Like he threw a couple of interceptions when I was there, and then they posted
or Baker Mayfield.
Or Baker, like the guys who are used to throwing receptions, like they get a lot of flack, and I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of I'm over, especially this time. Like we're already 2 weeks into training camp. I'm over. I want to see games already.
I'm with you. I see so many plays going on and this and that. And they're like, oh my God, this guy. That's what happens, though. Remember a couple of years ago, Austin Prohl. If Austin Prohl doesn't make the Chargers roster, I'm going to be so angry. Last year was if Michael Bandy doesn't make this roster, chill out, relax, chill. But we'll see how it is. Gilbert, Swift Mania has taken over Los Angeles. 6 days of Taylor Swift. I know you will be attending the same amount of concerts I will. A goose egg, but she's obviously had shows at SoFi, but she was in Kansas City, and Travis Kelce tried to shoot a shot after the concert. What NFL player would you like to see Taylor Swift date and then write a breakup song about?
Yeah, you're right there. For me, I wanted to give a good thought here. I want Taylor Swift to write a really good song about this NFL player, and the good choice for me, I went with Sauce Gardner, man, a rookie cornerback who, if you're a guy who would turn down Jessica Alba and be like, who are you? That means that you're gonna be a total, maybe is that a word? F-boy? Can I say that? And just stomp on somebody's heart, and it will turn out to be a very good love song. Well, a good breakup song, not love song. So, Sauce Gardner will definitely play with your feelings, and he won't care about it.
I would love to see Travis Kelce and her because, Travis Kelce is a party animal. He's like the new Gronk. But I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. That would be so interesting. We've heard – you've heard stuff about Aaron Rodgers and everything. Exactly. So I want to see – well, remember, like, when he was with that one actress, the one that was an X-Men, he like his parents sent him gifts and he sent them back to them because he couldn't stand
Olivia
them.
Munn,
Yeah. So,
and then
I'd love to see Aaron Rodgers and Taylor Swift. That'd be an interesting combo.
They've all been actresses, right, or in a NASCAR driver, right? But it hasn't been a singer.
Jake Gyllenhaal. No, Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh wait, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
actresses, not and Danica Patrick.
So maybe you get a singer, we'll kind of get more of the tea of what's going on with Aaron Rodgers behind closed doors.
That's why I'm trying to say, like, he broke my heart and he's not vaxxed, but he kicked my ass to the curb and hit the max
after doing mushrooms.
Exactly. We did Owanesca and turned off the lights.
He spent too much time on Pat McAfee's show.
This breakup really bites.
Yeah, we're terrible songwriters.
Yeah, exactly. But we appreciate you guys so much for checking out another episode of Compas on the Beat. Yes, this was a hybrid version. We wanted to get an episode out to you guys. Next week, Dan and Dago and Vic the producer will be back. This week, Gilbert and I just had to throw something together, put this in. But we had a lot of interesting topics. Gilbert gives you the lowdown on 6 different training camps. I give you the lowdown on the Chargers, and then obviously what is going on in the rest of the NFL. Don't forget, next week, Gilbert is going to be going to the Seahawks and the Broncos. He will give me everything I need to know about Team 3 and what is going on. Does Russell Wilson still have an office? Gilbert will let me know about that next week. So that'll be interesting. And then don't forget to check out everything else. Like I said, we've been moving, so there's a lot of moving parts. But Dan and Dago and I will be doing a What's Up Bolts this week to kind of get back into the rhythm. Don't forget to check out House of Horns with Gilbert and Vic the producer, and obviously everything else, Combat Compas, Compas FC, everything else on the Compas channel. Please check it out. But we appreciate you guys so much. If you guys see Gilbert, if you see me at training camp, make sure you guys say hi. I appreciate that. Gilbert, somebody at training camp, I couldn't hear his name, but on Sunday, he goes, Fernando, it's so great to have you home. Like, you are honestly, like, you're one of the dudes that is actually real, and I love it, and I love Compas. I love what you and Gilbert are doing. And I was like, I truly appreciate that. He's like, no, like, when you were gone, it was bad. Like, honestly, you were missed. I'm glad you're back. And a couple other people were like, yeah, we're so happy you're back. And I was like, oh, wow. That actually means a lot. So that was a pretty cool moment. But yeah, but I don't want Gilbert to miss his flight. So Gilbert, ¿sabes qué? Vámonos.
Yeah, we're on the move back to catching this flight. You moving, and stay away from the neighbors, Fernando. But on that note, nos vamos, pues, vámonos.